Hello everyone, this is Arif, and in today's video we will be discussing about that how you can plan your career. And just in case if you are sitting right now in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, or any of your home country and you intend to move to any developed country, uh, then how you can make it happen and what are the strategies that I have taken just to enhance my career development. So let's start with the first thing. Uh, just moving to another country is not about that it's an instance that you can just take it at once. For me, I'm a kind of a person who plans a lot, who's very organized and very structured. So while doing my ACCA back in the days, in 2005 and 6, when I was doing my ACCA, my main aim was to relocate back from Pakistan to UAE. The reason being, back then, I still had my family members there. Basically, my parents were there. I born and brought up, or most of the time of my life, I spent in UAE. So eventually, my aim was once I finish the studies, I'll go back to UAE. So that thought was always in my mind, and while doing that, there were certain steps that I have to take. For instance, I have to see that to get a job in the UAE, I have to ensure that I have the right qualification and right experience with the right employer. I do not want it to settle for something less. So in that case, I just look around at what are the key good qualification and what interests me a lot. So accountancy was something, or business studies was something which attracted the most to me. So I opted for an ACCA, and the reason why I go for ACCA rather than CA, because I knew from the day one that it's an international qualification, and it will open my avenues across the globe, not only in Pakistan or not only in UAE or any of the GCC country, even in abroad. Just in case if I change my mind and I want to move to UK, so any other country, so I needed an international qualification, a degree by which I can move abroad. So while doing ACCA, my first intent was to get into a big four, and I just researched at that time that which one of the big four is more, or which is on the top of the remaining. In Pakistan, it was PwC, but in UAE or in Middle East back in the days, it was EY. So that I also figured out. Now the next step was, while doing in ACCA, I always thought that what would be the distinction or distinguish or competitive edge that I can bring it to my profile in order to be selected by the big four. So what I thought the best way will be to to have something additional to my qualification, my prime qualification, which was ACCA. So as you all know that those who doesn't have a graduation, they go for a CAT qualification. Back in the days, I don't know now they call it foundation or something. And then you get some exemption into ACCA. I took those exemption. While doing ACCA, we have an option of BSc Honors in Applied Accounting from Oxford Brookes University. I opted for that. So while doing ACCA, I also completed that one. And before I completed my ACCA, I also started CIA. And by the time I was applying, I did my ACCA and I was applying for recruitment in Big Four. I mentioned on my CV that my two parts were clear, and I was only had one remaining part in CIA. And these things make me different than the other candidate when it comes to CV selection, because uh, I was a young graduate with a CAD, SCCA, BSc, and now had a CIA in my profile, while other candidates were only having ACCA or part qualified ACCA. So it was pretty obvious that I was selected, shortlisted, and I remember when the partner was interviewing me, and he was very impressed with my profile. And secondly, he knew that I'm committed because that's how I was investing my time in the qualification. Uh, so I requested him that I need to delay my. Obviously, I got selected by the Big Four and EY. I was just being lucky, so I got it. Um, my placement in business risk advisory. And before joining, I just took some off time. I mean, I delayed my joining so I can appear in CIA Part 3, and I just prepared for CIA Part 3. I did my CIA Part 3 before even starting my EY journey. Once I did my CIA and I joined EY, I did not settle for it. I still I had thought in mind that eventually I have to move to an industry, and to do that, I still need to build my profile. There was always one thing that I always thought, that experience is something which is coming naturally once you are in the employer. But what is the additional thing that I can do to stand out among other candidates? So, in my field in internal audit, we have a couple of more subspecialties that you can pursue certain certification in, that it helps in you in your work, but it always give you a competitive edge among the others. So I figured out CFE qualification and certified information system auditing qualification. These two qualifications will further enhance my profile. So I went while staying in EY and doing full time audits. I also, on the weekends at night, I used to study initially for CISA, Certified Information System Auditing. And I passed it in the first attempt. I could not make it happen. I failed by the margin, but in the second attempt, I passed it. And then I moved for CFE, which was relatively easy for me, Certified Fraud Examiner. Once I had that set of qualification and I had already 2 years of experience with the Big Four, I started getting job offers from different companies. Although I was applying from the day one just to assess and to see that I'm how fit I'm to the external employers. So apart from getting job offers from not apart, but basically I will start getting job offer from many countries, including Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, and also UK. And when I start getting all those jobs, the only question was that since my family was in UAE, I intended to go to UAE. So I was patiently waiting for to see that when I'll be able to get a job from UAE. Uh, then what happened that I come across while doing an audit, I come across a role in Telenor in telecommunication. Um, it was a Norwegian subsidiary, fully owned subsidiary of Norwegian company Telenor. So I applied for that role. Just to tell you that I didn't had enough, as per the job description. I didn't had 5 6 years of experience. I just had 2 years of experience, 2.5 years of experience at the time, and there were certain requirements which I still could not fulfill. But overall, I had some exposure while doing some certain advisory assignments for telecom sector. So I had those clientele in my profile. So when I applied for that role, luckily I got selected. And one of the key factors, apart from my approach to the interview, apart from my personality, my qualification, I mean, my qualification and all, one was the key factor which I've been told later by my teammates, was that I had a CISA, Certified Information System Auditing qualification, uh, which they admire the most, because they wanted someone who can have a know-how of information system related controls and auditing process, while being a hardcore finance guy, because they can deploy that person to technical audits with the team, and then and the same person can work in the finance assignments as well. So that was one of the reasons that how my qualification for the second time in my career has helped me, initially my CIA and now my CISA. Anyways, a year working with them, I got a job eventually. I was headhunted by an employer in UAE. through LinkedIn. Though all this time, I had my LinkedIn profile. I used to keep it very up to date, work really hard on it. I was kind of selectively, but I was active on LinkedIn as well. So, anyways, I was headhunted by my first employer in UAE, HSA Group, and the approach for me, they conducted several interviews, many interviews online, and then eventually they asked me that if I'm fine, if I'm okay with, they can send me the tickets and the visa. So once I was headhunted by an employer in UAE, I had a couple of interviews online and through Skype and other medium, and eventually they asked me to travel to UAE. I went to UAE and gave my final interview, and this is how I was selected. When I was selected, after a while, obviously, I asked my boss that what compelled him to hire me, and he said it. Though he was not familiar with telecommunications sector, but one thing which made my profile a bit more distinct from the other one was my Big Four experience and the qualification I have. So this is how he eventually hired me. I worked for 6 years with the same employer, and I got promoted. When I was leaving, I was working as a group manager in internal audit. Well, during working with them, I get a lot of job opportunities in different countries. But since I was pretty happy and content with what I was doing, and also I was doing more certifications and more academically. I did my master's from University of London while being there. I was also writing articles. These are the things which I always went for, and I never stopped my learning. It was always a continuous factor. Many people have told me that you will be considered as overqualified. Some of your potential boss or employers might get intimidated by your profile and eventually they will not hire you. But let me tell you that it never happened in my career, at least I never faced. And the people who hired me was because of my competence and my overall personality and the knowledge and the skills. So while working with HSA, I stumbled upon one opportunity. It was MR, and the role was head of internal audit. So this was something that I was looking forward to because while working in HSA, though I was directly reporting to the group head of internal audit, I still had that shield, a cover in front of me for any potential conflicts. So he used to protect me. But now I wanted to lead a team and work at the first hand and being at the forefront, and where I protect my team and develop some of the leadership skills while working for that position. So eventually, what happened that I opted for. I was interviewed multiple interviews. The recruitment process in itself take around, I think, almost 2 months. The board of directors, they were interviewing me, and I remember one of the board of director. He was thoroughly impressed by my master in University of London, because though he did his master from Imperial and he had MIT, bachelor's in from MIT and master from Imperial, but he was pretty he knew about the reputation of University of London, and that worked in my favor somehow because it was a complementary qualification. So when he looked into my Oxford Brookes and the University of London, he was pretty much impressed with. So eventually I ended up that role, and it was pretty tough in the start, but again, with hard work and dedication, you prove your mettle. And I worked there as a head of internal audit, and I was among one of the best performing employees with the company. Then something happened that my mother health my mother had some health issues, and I thought that while working full time, I wouldn't be able to take care of her. So I decided to take a more passive role in terms of my career. So um, I moved to a consultancy or advisory services. Yeah, there was one more job which in between I opted for. It was a remote working, home based, for a very big renowned unicorn. I wouldn't like to take the name here, but it was just a small span of time that I was engaged. I was working there as a director, compliance director, with a very great package, but I didn't like the way things were structured in that company, and it was not so organized, and though it was a big unicorn, but they were still struggling to build their own mark as an established organization and build that positive culture. And the job was pretty demanding with no schedule because it was home based. So even at night, you have to at 2 a.m. you have to attend a meeting. So it was pretty hectic in that way. I highlighted the issues to the HR, but since they didn't listen, so I told them that sorry, I cannot continue this way. So I left that organization and I joined a consultancy firm, and I did some advisory assignments for a year and two, and now here I am with moving ahead in my career, and most probably you will be joining another company, most probably inshallah soon, and moving to another GCC country most probably. So once things get uh, I get more visibility, eventually you will know through my LinkedIn profile. But this is how my journey was. So the key crux, if I want to give you from the entire journey, is first of all that you have to prepare, you have to plan for your career. Secondly, do the right qualification. Don't waste time, and do not listen to people who are negative or pessimistic, that who tell you that skills and experience is everything. Yes, I know it is. It plays a very vital role, but again, a person with the skills and experience and qualification will always have upper hand over those who just have the skills and qualification. Third, is that you have to keep on praying from God. Yeah, you have to seek for His mercy. I know what I did, but again, it is not only because of my hard work. There is an element of luck. There is an element of blessings, my parents' prayers, my siblings' support. So everything uh, which we achieve in life is not the 100% input and output equation. It has a lot to do, according to my belief, a lot to do with your belief system. Help other people during your journey as well. I try to help anyone, even within my team or outside my team. I don't care who that person is. I don't care even if someone take my credit. I'm always happy to let people take my credit for my work, or I'm not ashamed to highlight other people's hard work. And these are the positive attributes in your personality, in your character, that will admire people. Eventually, when it comes to a job hunt, initial phase might be very robotic, where you have assessments and sorry, and test, but eventually you will encounter a person, and a person needs to like you as a human being as well. So this is a snapshot of my journey. If there is something specific you want me to share with you in terms of career planning or anything, I will try to make another video. But I just thought to give you a snapshot that how I plan my career and how things work out for me. Most probably that it will help you as well. And I wish you good luck in your life, in your career. Remember me and my family and all the fellow human beings in your prayers, and hope to see you next time. Thank you.